What was the Chinese involvement in the Korean War? A lot of people think the Chinese invaded because UN forces got too close to the border. However, there was preparations for them to invade Korea as well as directly assist the North Koreans from very early on in the war. As they were capturing airfields, as they pushed the North Koreans out of South Korea, they were finding airfields that were far more advanced than what the biplanes and other very rudimentary airplanes that the North Koreans were using. This, as well as other military analysis and intelligence, showed that there was going to be a major player getting involved in the Korean side. But the Soviets really didn't show how much they cared about the Koreans. While they did give some aid as well as weaponry, the main actor was the Chinese. Now, as UN forces got closer to the border between Korea and China, they started encountering a lot of aircraft that would come in, attack the UN forces, and then escape across the border. And the UN would not allow for the military to go after them and attack them. So they had like this safe harbor. As long as they could get across the border, they were safe. And as I've talked about before, if there's any time in which the military is getting overly restricted in a stupid way, because in any normal war, you're allowed to cross a boundary. If an enemy that you are pursuing goes across it, just like a police officer, if they see somebody that they're chasing run into a building, they can chase after them. And so by overly restricting the military, they were showing the Chinese that they weren't going to do anything about it. Now, despite the fact that a lot of people knew that the Chinese were probably going to be coming in, the way that they did it was actually really smart. They came in by night, they hid during the daytime so that the aircraft would not be able to see them, and then when they actually made their massive attack, there was just not a lot of warning. One of the problems is that there's tons of hills, mountains, and valleys in the Korean Peninsula, and so they were able to hide hundreds of thousands of troops within these valleys. Now, eventually, the UN was able to push them all the way back to the 38th parallel, where they stay today, creating the DMZ.